Hi, I'm Nikki Woods, and we are going beyond the studio with writer, producer, director, and now you're kind of like, you've got a cult following, so you're kind of like your rock star status now. His name is Justin Simien, and the movie is Dear White People. And if you haven't heard it, you're going to be hearing a lot about it very soon. How are you?
I'm very good.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I asked you when you walked in, like, are you excited?
I'm so excited. I'm exhausted and excited. I don't know what that word is that combines the two, but that's what I am.
Well, I have got to tell you, and I want to talk a little bit about you and how you got to this place. But Dear White People, it's been in select cities, but it's coming to more and more as the weeks go on. I got a chance to look at it before the interview, and Tom got a chance to look at it, and we interviewed Tyler last week, so that was exciting. But this movie has got now such a groundswell of support that you have got to be very proud.
I'm very proud. And it's tricky subject matter that we're dealing with, and it's a tricky style. It's doing a multi-protagonist movie about race rumination. It's just like it has so many things against it, and to have worked so hard on it for so long and see it do well is a pretty profound moment for me.
Yeah, because it's been since 2006, correct?
That's right,
that you kind of started with this.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've done three short films, and you've taken this to the film festival, and you've critically acclaimed, and now it's on the big screen. So let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, like you said, there is a lot in this movie, and it's like Tom said it on the air. I mean, you kind of have to watch it a couple of times because you miss stuff.
Yeah.
But tell us about it and how the concept came about.
Well, I mean, it really kind of came out of the conversations I was having in college. I was a black face in a white place in my college, but I've always sort of felt that sense of kind of toggling between different cultural spheres. I grew up in an all-black neighborhood, was bused off to schools that were predominantly white, and just that kind of the ways in which my friends and I were talking about how we sort of toggle up and down our blackness and our struggle. It's a lot harder to figure out what's authentically black in a world where you're one of very few black people. And that was the black experience we were having, and I felt like that was something that should be talked about and should be a part of the culture. It should be a part of the cultural conversation. And also I just loved the do the right thing era.
And that, what, now that you say that, it has that feel to it.
Yeah, I love like Hollywood Shuffle and Love Jones and those quirky movies that came out of the late 80s, early 90s that were talky and they were about the life, and I wanted to do a throwback, but I wanted to say something new with it.
Well, it was very refreshing. So tell us how you came up with the characters, because the lead character, or one of the lead characters, she's a female, and she's really kind of, pro-black everything, and she's leading this movement at, as you said, a predominantly white college.
Right.
And she's got a lot of opposition, not only from the white people, but also from the black people, too.
I mean, the funny thing is people are like, well, Dear White People, it's such an offensive title. I'm like, yeah, the characters in my movie agree. They actually argue about, whether or not she should have this show in the film. But all of the characters really started with just observing the different the different techniques and tactics that myself and my friends and other people of color, in life really, we're kind of using to sort of, make the most of our potential, make the most of our opportunities, knowing full and well that we're being viewed as different than the people in control of the situation. And Sam is, she sort of represents a person who sort of like doubles down on that black identity and says, you know what, before you even bring it up, I'm gonna bring it up.
Right.
and she's sort of like, the tricky thing about being a person of color now is that racism is very covert now. It's very subversive. It's sort of hard to spot. And I think that Sam is about, the ways in which we're trying to articulate what it is exactly and try to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm having a different experience than you. And here's what's going on for me.
Right. And I thought the interesting thing about Sam was her last name was White, which I thought was genius, but also that she was interracial, and that kind of came out. And then and I don't want to give too much of the movie away. Not that I probably could in 10 minutes, and that she's got a relationship with someone who is not African American, and that presents a lot of problems for her too.
Right, yeah. I mean, I wanted to get into the complexity of being biracial.
Yeah.
We often have this is not the first time, I'm not the first person to say this, but like you often have like a light-skinned black woman as the center, the object of a narrative, and the complicatedness of that experience is never ever dealt with.
Right.
If you see their parents, they're both just light-skinned black people. You never get into they never get into what that feels like to be of two worlds and to sort of not feel like you fit in any place and to feel like you have to pick a side of yourself and deny the rest. And I wanted to get into that because that's something that is always kind of like glossed over.
And I thought the conversation that she had with her boyfriend after something happens with her father, after she gets that stressful call from her father, and she's kind of hiding from all of the black people. In that conversation, he's like, this isn't even you. This isn't even who you are, but she may be overcompensating.
She's a character who feels as if the only way to survive in this place is to be one part of herself or the other.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, as a person of color, it can be really difficult because this, culture and society, black culture, white culture, whatever, tells us what we are sometimes. And when it's an ill fit, it can be awkward to say, but I kind of rock with Downton Abbey. Like, is that okay? Like, can I watch Downton Abbey?
I watch Downton Abbey.
But it's things like that of just sort of like feeling like it's, you want to just have a human experience like everybody else. You don't necessarily have likes and dislikes that fall along the racial lines.
That come into one column or another.
Exactly. And so, I wanted to get into how difficult it can sometimes be for a person of color to just have a human experience and to be contradictory and to want different things like everybody else,
Well, it is an amazing movie. And on top of all of the racial struggles that we, you deal with, the character played by Tyler, James Williams, I was shocked, is gay.
Yeah.
He didn't even mention that in the interview. I was like, this is a big chunk, and he didn't even mention all these kissing scenes. Why did you decide that you were going to throw that in as well?
Well, because each of the characters is sort of dealing with multiple identities. The first thing that you see about the characters is that they're black.
Yeah.
But Sam is black, and she's white, and she's also a woman, and having those three very different experiences. Coco is black, but she is, hiding, and sort of.
She's a darker skin.
She's a darker skinned black girl, but she's also kind of like modulating her class level a bit, and she's dealing with some class issues on top of being a woman and on top of being a dark skinned black woman. And then Lionel is sort of, he's dealing with this gay thing on top of being black, which, for black men is a very tricky thing to deal with because you never really see positively portrayed gay men in black popular culture.
And you did do that, which was one thing I always tell people. I mean, he was gay, but it really was not stereotypical in any way.
He wasn't exoticized, and he wasn't sort of playing up an extreme or playing up a caricature. And I just wanted to I wanted to talk about the purgatory of that, and just the hell of not ever seeing yourself represented in the culture and feeling like you don't belong there. And, Lionel has to sort of find his place within the black culture on
afro?
campus.
What was that about? Because I was just like, I want that boy to cut his hair.
Well, I had this experience, and I never had an afro like that, but when I went to this really great school called Chapman, it was in a very, white neighborhood, and I took one look at the barbershop in the neighborhood, I was like, I can't do that. And I didn't have a car, and, because I'm a college kid, and the hair just had to grow because I wasn't gonna let someone who didn't know what he was doing with my hair to cut it. So I got a haircut every time I could go home. I got a haircut in the summer and a haircut at Christmas.
Right.
And of course, I got the fingers in my hair, and I got the whole. And people loved my hair. I was like, this is a nightmare. I just want to cut it. And also I thought it was funny because for Lionel. The idea of the afro has always sort of been associated with being authentically black.
Yeah, and he was
But for Lionel, it's just it's like an accident. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't know who could cut my hair.
Yeah, he was so challenged. But like I said, I mean, there is just so much richness to this movie, just aside from the topic and aside from the subject matter. I mean, it's just a really rich movie.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations
Thank you so much.
for that. And I really encourage all of you all to go out and see it. And if you don't, people will talk about you on Twitter. I have
That's
found that.
right.
I have to
That's right.
defend myself on Twitter that we're not doing enough to support this movie, and we are. We love it. And
thank
Tom
you so
loves
much.
it. And he was so thrilled that we were going to have you on blackamericaweb.com.
Oh,
so
great.
definitely. Is there a website that people can go to?
DearWhitePeopleMovie.com.
Okay, there you go.
And
DearWhitePeopleMovie.com.
May I plug my book? Is that something I
Oh
can
my
possibly
goodness,
do?
I can't. I've been sitting here holding the book, meaning to talk about the book. Yes, Dear White People. It's kind of like a coffee book companion.
It is, yeah.
To the movie.
It's sort of, it's a survival guide to interracial living.
Absolutely. It's fun. I'm just going to carry it around with me and see what kind of reaction I get when I go to different places. But congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much.
As well. It's Justin Simien. The movie is Dear White People. It's in select theaters, but you can Google it, or you can go to the website DearWhitePeopleMovie.com and check out where it's showing near you.
And
Thank you so much.
It opens wide on Friday, tomorrow.
Yay! I'm Nikki Woods. We've gone beyond the studio on BlackAmericaWeb.com.